All right, we're recording right now.
Okay. Wait, shit.
This is a
Who does the
great
intro?
introduction, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our new podcast, X, Y, and Z.
Huh?
That's not the right. That's not the right name of the podcast.
Quackus. Bruh.
Tisk tisk tisk.
Yes,
everyone.
what?
I got it.
Ratio by Big Baller 66, folks.
Hello,
Holy.
hello, everybody. Welcome to the PQB podcast. My name is Baller.
I'm the Pika player.
I'm Quack.
You are literally Quackus Anonymous.
And you, fellow viewers, are enjoying. If you enjoy yourself, please like the video. Please subscribe to enjoy this series every week.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you were gonna go in that direction.
Ben Baller is the goated sponsor. What can I say? He even
It's not even
sponsors
a sponsor. I'm just making sure the channel doesn't die immediately.
True,
bro.
he
Come on.
does have good segment transitions and stuff.
Guys, Big Baller 66, the segment slayer, they call him.
Shut up.
Make sure to drop your favorite big baller transition in the comments below, i.e. Metafy sponsorship transition. Like when he
Or water.
mentioned that Metafy was there.
Or water.
Or water.
Or chocolate milk.
Remember when water was there?
That's
Yeah,
true.
it was. So yeah, I guess speaking of like sponsor transitions and stuff, that's all like commentary stuff. And like y'all are like two of the most like prolific like SF2 commentators in terms of appearances on like
Yeah, like I have some free time on weekends, so I just do it.
I have free time way too much of the time, and I skip all my schoolwork to do this. Don't tell my dad, though.
and I am the streamer who has to listen to a lot of this commentary. So
When it comes to my take on commentary is simple. Is that I try to divide commentary into 2 or 3 sections generally. You have the hype commentator, or at least the energetic commentator, who tries to put signs of life. The analytical one that just tries to either talk about the mindset or what's on stage. And then you have the ones like the story commentator, the storytelling commentator of sorts, which just kind of tells the tale of the 2 players in combat.
yes, yeah. I get what you're saying. That like there's different kinds of commentators. Yeah.
Yeah, these specific types. I generally think I'm more in the analytical type because sometimes I'll do a story, tell a story, but like generally I just like talking about the game. I like talking to people about interactions, counterplay, stuff like that. I just love talking about the game itself.
Yeah.
And I think Quackus, we all know what type of commentator he is.
Yeah,
Quackus
what could I be? I think I'm a hype commentator. Mostly because I think that
No, you sound incest.
in all seriousness, I think it actually does complement your analytical commentary when I'm paying attention.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And
Another thing I
that's
think is
why
important when
I'm
it comes to...
Yes.
I agree with you, Quackus. Another thing I think is important when it comes to commentary is understanding what your co-commentator does as well. Because I feel like transitioning between the audience, the game itself, the co-commentator, they're all very much different things and they're different skill sets entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, because for example, you could be completely with the viewer, but then you can completely abandon your commentary and make him sound like he's just not even in the same room as you. And you could be too close to your commentary, and then the viewer feels awkward, and they're just kind of like a third wheel.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So yeah,
And if you're not talking, and if you're not talking about the game, it's like you're kind of off topic. It's not like you're rambling.
yeah. Like
Very much is it's important.
if I can go on a little tangent here, if that's all right.
Yeah.
I
You
definitely
can
think
go tangent.
I definitely think that like commentary is honestly not too difficult to like get into if you just have like the right mindset and stuff going in.
As long as you believe in yourself, you have the spirit.
Which is kind of just like you're confident enough in yourself that you can like speak and commentate a set to the viewer in a way that like they're going to understand like what you're adding to the set, and they're gonna appreciate it, or they're going to at least understand where you're coming from. I think if you can do that, then you can definitely be a good commentator.
Yeah. Another thing I think is important is very easy to mess up commentary. It's easy to get commentary right, but it's also easy to like throw everything off the wall, and then you're just kind of you don't know what's happening.
And I feel that all the time whenever I'm like commentating. I'm like halfway paying attention. On the other half, I'm just grinding SF2 friendlies with some dumbass, and I'm just like kind of clicking on my controller. All the stream can hear it. I'm like,
It's like, yeah.
whoa!
It's like you're watching like a winners round one match, and it's like the most uninteresting match ever, and you're like, yo, I got this clean combo, and then you're completely out of it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, yeah, that was so hype. Holy, when are we done?
He got the edge guard.
Quack is talking about the sickest Zaire combos he gets in a
Yo,
set
no,
where it's
I
literally
got
Mario Luigi.
Carlos, what you mean? Y'all trying to
Yeah.
downplay my hype Samus? My hype Xander
Something very important, I think, comes down to is being good at different types of matchups. Because I feel like, for example, a Slugfest, for example, say like a Fox Fox Link, for example, it's pretty easy to get into that type of set because the Fox has a clear game plan and Link has a clear game plan.
Yeah.
If you're watching a more defensive matchup, you kind of have to talk about like the mindset. You have to talk about a lot of things because the system's longer.
Yeah, it's much broader scale.
Because you have to talk about more things because for example, in like a more rush down matchup, especially 2 out of 3 before top 8, for example, you only really commentate for like 6 minutes. You don't have to commentate for that long.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to more defensive matchup, you gotta commentate for like 14 minutes, be like 12 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, like it depends. It depends on the kind of set that they're playing, but generally it's around like 10 to 14 minutes in a best of 3, maybe longer depending on like the average length of a match. But yeah,
true. One thing I'll say is one of the biggest strengths I think Monty has as a commentator is that he's so good at commentating 3 to 5s. Like, I don't think he's that great at 2 out of 3s because I feel like he kind of takes too long to get this thing started, and so the set's already over by the time he kind of sets everything up. But in 3 to 5, especially when time you get to Grands, and it's like a set 2 of Grands, for example, and he's like in the commentary, it's like he sounds like he's already kind of in his pocket, and he sounds like he's fully ready. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's definitely the story type of commentator who will just sit down and tell you a good old story about why Zaire Extrovert got banned from Frontier or why all of a sudden Pixel said a not nice word and now he's gone. He's always that dude who's just down to sit for a good story or to just talk about a matchup for 20 minutes at a time.
Or talk about a head-to-head, or talk about like someone's momentum, stuff like that.
Yeah, head-to-heads and stuff like that is very much
as baseless as a head-to-head. He'll literally go into detail, like tell us every single match they played if he so chooses.
Yeah. He also talk about like a player habit he sees within like the second or third game, and like when you mentioned J-Mac, he always dashes back out of pressure. Like I noticed that a little bit, but I didn't notice it was so like strong. Because I wouldn't notice that because I'm so focused on like play by play and like maybe some very specific things I may be noticing, but like Monty kind of gets it in like immediately. Like he just understands that.
Yeah. Definitely, like what comes with like experience in the game, you know. If you have those years of experience as at the top level, then you're naturally going to know more about like people's play styles and more about the game itself. And you can also draw a lot more comparisons to like the past versions of the game, the way matchups were in the past, the like past history between 2 people, etc., etc. So like just that knowledge bank flowing out is just like it's very useful to have if you're a commentator too. Yeah,
very much is. My favorite type of hype commentator is one where it seems like the hype commentator themselves very much control their level of hype at any moment. Like a hype commentator, like the most basic kind, will just kind of throw in hype moments and like just will not hold it together, because not every moment has to be important. Some moments are just normal plays or like some normal gameplay, and you don't have to scream at every moment, right? But the best type of hype commentators can hold it in, and when it's the most important moment, make it the hype moment stand out more, or make it more hype than it would have been already.
They let loose all like the hype energy and stuff.
Yeah, to touch a bit more on that, coming from that sort of experience, not to be humble at least, like kind of like you have to know what right moment. Like at Mac and Cheese 6, I'll touch upon that during Grands. It's not like you're gonna be hyped up every moment. It's a freaking hype set. There are times where sometimes just being laid back or saying, "Oh yeah," because totally.
Which set specifically?
Mac and Cheese 6 grand finals, I believe.
Oh yeah, that set was intense. I thought that was very much on point during that set.
And it lasted 30-something minutes, but like
I felt like I was in it that entire set. Mentally, I thought it was one set. J-Mac was smacking till up to that point, like convincingly the past few sets, right? At 5-5 a bracket. I'm like, and through 3-0 winner song. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, We probably got like 3, maybe 4 more games, and then it was like this barn burner, and I'm like, I was just putting my heart into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I was on fire during that day, or at least a lot more on point than usual that day.
I walked away at like 10 p.m. and I was freaking elated. I was on cloud 9. I went and I just ran around.
Like a good set can really put like everything together. Like it can really make your day in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do something special. What is your favorite commentary moment or commentary match or set? What's your favorite commentary moment? It could be yourself, someone else, anything like that.
I think one that I really like from, if I can be specific here, from Quackus, even though I wasn't there personally, I really love the quote. Quackus, you know the quote already, right? Can Mike earn his food? That was such like a funny moment.
Stop making fun of me all the time.
And another great thing to come from that set, Mike Needs Food versus Gene at EU Summit. I don't know if the VODs are uploaded yet. They might be by the time this goes up. But one of my favorite parts from that set was Champy showed me like an abridged version of the set. There were a lot of like really funny like commentary moments throughout there. Like, I remember it was something like Doc was saying, "Oh, Mike gets banned, or Gene gets banned, or something for like playing campy," and then one of them switched to Falcon, and everybody in the commentary booth popped off.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I think I remember that.
I think it was like Gene is the savior of SSF2 in Europe.
Holy
Falcon.
Oh my god.
That's hilarious.
Summit was freaking bonkers.
Dude.
Baller, what was your favorite moment ever of commentary?
No, I want you to talk about yours first, because I feel like...
let's put the spotlight on you, man. I'm too shy to talk about my stuff.
Okay. My favorite moment was... Do you have the Twitch clip of the DBZ moment at South Arena? I think that's my favorite.
I do, yep. Let me actually pull it up.
Play the audio if you can. Like I know like you didn't play your audio if you want, but I feel like I was like really aggressively passionate in it. MG was way more on point than he was earlier in the tournament. I felt like he was really in the groove. Quackus sounded very much like he was very loose, very much in it. And then the play itself was absurd. You know, like it was such a close first set. It was like, oh my.
This has actually climbed up to be the most viewed clip on my channel now.
In 4 days, it was absurd.
Yeah.
It was such a fast way to rose to the top. Like,
but why are your OBS so blurry?
That's a personal choice.
Oh god. I would love to. I think we can watch this clip right now.
I'm gonna play the clip really quickly.
Dog.
Oh my Christ! I'm just gonna let you play it for the viewers.
The audio itself is like my audio quality. I was on my phone, so it wasn't amazing, but I feel like I had passion there. Christ, how many times did you watch the clip?
I've watched it not once before then, but I remember that moment like it was yesterday.
I've watched it like 6 times, but it still gives me chills.
Because we all unanimously, simultaneously popped off at the godliest moment Senior Rick has ever pulled off.
Yeah.
It was so insane, bro. Like
I cried that day when Senior Rick won his tournament.
I hope that the people watching this back were able to hear the commentary over Quackus talking about how the people who are watching this back should be able to hear the commentary. So thanks, Quackus.
Can you hear it?
Oh no, I played it already. Yeah,
I'm watching it again myself because it's so good.
I was watching it right now too.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do that one more time.
I was invested in it. I was so invested in it.
Last dog. Game 5.
No, because I was popping off so hard. Like, you hear the oh my god!
And he just
You hear the oh my god! That was the last thing I ever yelled in commentary. You hear that oh my god! The crazy thing is that he did one bomb and it missed, but he can get the balls to do another bomb. That's the crazy part.
Dude,
like, he was ahead.
Rick just decided, oh, I missed one.
He like almost immediately did another one. It was so absurd. Like I think Brian was not ready for that.
Briam was not ready for the sheer explosive power that Senior Rick decided.
Briam, he genuinely got blown back, dude. like blown
Dude,
away.
It was like
schmixed. I mean, like schmixed.
it wasn't even like
Mixed in the
it was like
comms couch.
in the crazy thing. There's a universe where like that didn't kill, and then Brian won the game. There's a universe where just like he barely didn't kill, and then he got the up air and killed him in one
Yeah.
set. Like there's a universe that didn't even happen, but he had like the just bad enough DI to kill him because he went like straight away.
I got 30 something.
He had like he had like 50, like 60, I think in total, but it was like 40 before the bomb, I think. It was like 6-6 after hit. What was it before? He was 39. He had 39 before hit. That bomb did 27.
That's what that is just simply what Sandbag does, my man. He just pulls out a bomb and he says, "Going down with me, my man."
What's your favorite commentary moment, Quackus?
My favorite commentary moment. I wouldn't say it's a story one. I don't find this personally entertaining, although I know people do. I certainly find it fun to tell a story, just not to listen to. I don't know. Honestly, probably you and me at Mac and Cheese 6, because I felt that was kind of like when we sort of recognized together that we're pretty good partners. Because before then,
Yeah. I just did like maybe once or twice before you, I think. Maybe once or twice prior to that tournament.
yeah, like no shame on either of us. It's just like I felt like we hadn't had something click until that moment, and then everything just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I was. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think that's the first classic set we commentated. Like, because we commentated a bunch of mid, like, or decent to good sets, but like that was the first one. Was like, this is gonna. I remember when Flav, I think it was like maybe his second video ever, or third video, when he talked, he was making a video, and the background footage was me and you commentating Mac G6. It was like the Mac G6 gameplay. It was like our mic icons, like in the front. It was like, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Shouts to
no,
Gatsobi.
it's me, it's Mari.
That's crazy.
Shouts to Gatsobi, man.
That actually,
That's what-
the go to
Catsobi streamed that. That's what. I miss Catsobi, man. I wish he wasn't sick, bro. Catsobi is like the honorary, bro. If we ever have like one more space for the podcast, it should be the PQBC podcast, bro. We need to at any moment just let Catsobi in. To be honest,
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that we need Ketsobi in here, not only as a special guest, but he should also go in the Hall of Fame for SSFG next season. Don't forget to vote for Ketsobi.
Holy.
that's true.
Yeah, true. He
Okay,
he literally has streamed some of like the most like hype tournaments, like Performance
Yeah.
2.0. Okay, that one was a bit of a bust since we can't watch it back, but I remember the clips were pretty hype when I was like, I think I might have been there either commentating or just listening to it. And then Mac and Cheese 6, obviously, he did Betaversary prelims,
Yeah.
and he did another recent tournament, Sunshine Smashdown NA, which all of those tournaments were kind of just bangers, like all of them.
Also, not just that, but also I remember he did the FFC 1K. I think.
I think that was Doc. No.
Was that no?
It
No,
was
because
Doc.
Doc did the regular event. I'm talking about the 1K the same weekend.
Oh, you mean Summit?
No, Summit was Doc. I remember for sure it was Doc who did
No,
Summit.
no.
And-
I was there during prelims of the 1K bracket, and it was Doc streaming that. And
Oh
then
no, he did the.
No, he
You
did
were
The final
prelims
bracket
and
1K.
And he did prelims, I know for sure, and I'm pretty sure he also did the final bracket because that was when he had to ask like for anybody to be there to commentate, and like basically nobody was doing it because everybody just finished up for Summit 3. So he got like Doppy on for like 3 sets, and then Doppy had to leave, and then Doc was solo commentating.
I get together, and I had to be on like for half a set, and then my dad's all like, "Quackus, come over here, time to go to sleep." And I'm like, "God fucking damn it, Dad! Come on."
Yeah, that was the same thing that like happened to me at like the very tail end of prelims.
That's true. One more comment I want to mention, if y'all don't have any more examples, right? Y'all have any more examples?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, just
My opinion. I don't think I'm ever gonna top what I did. I think that was the peak of my commentary. Was
No, I think you did that. You were the best part of Saturday. To be honest, the grand finals, you actually were on fire.
Oh wait,
Without
shoot!
it-
I wanted to bring this up when y'all said like Mac and Cheese 6 was the first time you two really like sort of clicked. I remember I have like DMs from either Quackus or Baller or both of you. Like it was maybe after Performance 2.0 because or it was something back in April before Mac and Cheese 6. I remember one of you was in my DMs and you were like, "Hey, the other person, I don't really know if like we have chemistry on the comms or like they don't appreciate my commentary and stuff." And then like y'all ended up being like this duo, and that's wild.
Other than Kai, Tiller, Healy, you and me, Baller, are literally the most.
I think I'm better than Kai. I think I'm better than Kai's
other than those being more iconic, they're the most iconic.
Sure.
I think. Too.
Yeah, sure. Doc isn't some huge commentator. Doc is a huge legend of commentator as well. Doc did a lot of insane stuff back in early beta days, like 9B stuff.
9B, bro. He had like all the 9B stuff set up. Like he was the only 9B streamer basically.
I remember that Doc would play streaming it, and then he would immediately go into streaming the actual thing. Full tournament.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, one more commentary moment I want to mention is the Hacker versus Luxiox set.
Oh my gosh, dude.
No, the set because viewers, to understand why this is so funny, the gameplay is some of the worst you'll ever watch. You have Hacker who's barely is like half playing, half being scared, and then you have Luxiox just rolling and force smashing it forward air the entire time. It's like
awesome.
And the sad thing that like the set was closed, so you have to watch like 10 minutes of the worst gameplay
It was
ever.
20 minutes. The official set on ACAX is 18 minutes and 7 seconds long.
How do you have 18 minutes of best of 3? That's absurd.
18 minutes for Hacker to go Nest Game 2 and lose, and then go back to Mario and lose again.
I actually had the most honest case of mom spaghetti in his life.
It's not even Mom Spaghetti, it was just bad gameplay. It was just they weren't playing good. Mom Spaghetti, it's like, because Mom Spaghetti to me is like, oh, you're playing a little sloppy, you're a little scared or whatever. That's what Mom Spaghetti is, at least in my opinion. Like, that's just playing bad. That's like 2 out of 10 gameplay. The worst ever. It's so bad. It's not even just bad, it's like, because Pika isn't really commenting as best. He's like a 7 out of 10 commentator right now.
I think right now at most I'm probably like a 7 out of 10. Back then I was on my phone for one. I think like my first ever comms experience, Fight Club, like something. I think it was the original Fight Club, or it was like some Flash by the Fireplace, something back in winter with Jeff. And like I didn't really know how to commentate. I was freaking trash. And then this is the next event that I commentate, and I don't really know my stuff either. And
you know what's crazy? That Poet was commentating like the best commentator of all time. Poet, like the first few prelims for top 8. If you remember that, like it was like 5 prelims with that. Those 5 prelims is like literally Poet at his peak. Poet never commented that good ever in his life.
Poet comms are so good, dude.
No,
honestly.
Poet comms are even after. Poet comms are so good after, but that was like peak Poet. Poet was commentating like he would have, like he had something to prove to people. Like it was absurd.
Yeah, I got a question really quickly. Can I play a little segment of the freaking Hacker versus Lux?
Yes.
Please, dude,
absolutely, bro.
All right, I'm gonna give y'all 20 seconds of this bliss.
Bro, that was like actual LSD for me. Like, I got a buzz from his laughter.
You know what's absolutely insane is that like the game 2 is the most hilarious part, but the game 3 is like the more you realize Lux might actually win this, it's like the depression of Pika and the hysteria of Poet that makes it more funny.
Literally, like slowly realizing
that Lux might actually win the game.
Oh no, he's winning this.
Yeah, that was one of the funniest parts.
Because game 1's like Hacker had won fairly solidly game 1. I don't remember game 1 being that like super duper close. So I guess like Hacker had like cleaned it up. It's over, right? He threw a game on Ness, and then game 3 went back to toss. I don't know how his Lux them back to toss, but that's not the point, right? He literally breaks rules. The set broke rules. That's not the point.
Dude, ZSR, dude. Lux is stupid rule.
Lux stupid rule. You can go back to toss.
What's crazy is the Mario games were all last stock, but the NES game was a 2-stock loss. Okay, no, it was a JV2. It was a JV2. Lux had a fresh stock, but it was technically a close set.
It was kind of a close set, so it wasn't even like. That's how these two equally mediocre players playing the mac and cheese 6 of their skill level. It's so fucking
and only like a commentator like Poet could like ham it up to be some like crazy like
iconic set, like some standout set.
Yeah, for just like having like constant laughter. Like the Joker set, dude.
Like people joke about how I sound like an out of breath poet, and like that moment made me realize like that's high key a compliment. That's not the point.
Yeah.
Speaking of Poet, let's talk about the story of Poet and Kai's money match.
Oh, this is
First
juicy.
time.
Don't diss Poet.
Not love Poet, but this is the funniest thing because I was there. It was in a VC. I think it was like Tiller, Gotling, like a bunch of other people. It was like a 12-person VC, right?
Mhm.
Like, you know, like when JMI did a money match with Gun, for example, like half the.
I remember his
that?
money match with Rage. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that one was big. Yeah, you know, like half
that
the
one was
lobby
massive.
Yeah, imagine that, but like slightly smaller because it's not JMI or Rage. Like,
Yeah,
it's not either of them.
Poet Kai, which is like slightly less iconic than both.
Yeah, but so like
But-
you still have like a good amount of people on the VC, right?
Yeah.
And so that happens. And what happens is like at first Poet's actually kind of doing pretty decent, and then Kai I think wins like 5-2. It's like not one-sided, but like clearly Kai kind of won, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like it especially became Kai-sided around the end when Kai kind of got the download. And then I think and the Kai's like, "Oh, pay up," and Poet just leaves. Poet just leaves, and he never comes back.
Yeah, bro just dipped, and after that, he actually got banned, which is crazy.
It was
Like,
so absurd because it's like
I'm looking on the
that's
seating doc right now. Yeah, if you go to
He is
Poetic, banned from FFC for not paying after a money match.
Yeah,
it was
like,
yeah.
and it was bad in my opinion, but also at the same time, I mean, a ban for that when he could pay up later.
But I mean,
I'm assuming the situation is like, oh, if you pay the money, then you come back.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
It's so hilarious. And the funniest thing is that like they put $300 on SF2.
On like, was it a best of 3?
It was first to 5,
Okay.
but it was still $300. Niggas, bro, you paid $0 for SF2. Why would you put $300 on? Like
Yeah.
Cloud Game is not paying you to play SF2, bro. Like you don't have a sponsorship, bro. Why are you paying $300, bro? That's like a clean like whole day of work, bro.
Yeah,
That's like 2 days of
That's
work,
not
maybe.
making
Like,
a week of work.
that's like a entire Metafy sponsorship.
I think
Bro, that's
honestly,
cool.
that this community has been wanted for that.
Poet spent the SSF2 like the community fund on that.
he didn't even spend it because he didn't pay up.
Well, he was
He didn't
betting
even
it. He was
spend it.
betting it.
It was the most absurd story ever. It was so insane. Because I've had more insane stories, but like the most PG story I could tell, that's the most insane one. Oh my lord, it was so much chaos. Like, and the aftermath, it was so quiet. Like everyone's like, damn. And then we all just moved on. It was crazy.
Yeah. I
Oh
actually
my
have
lord.
a pretty silly Poet story from, I think, after that. It was actually like exactly a month ago almost.
5v5 league, right?
No, this
Are we
is a
talking-
different story because y'all know that Poet plays Melee, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think outside of SSF2, he goes by like a different tag, Doobie. I'm pretty sure.
By
Like
Doobie,
that was
yeah.
his start.gg username when he entered Flash Flood. And so it's July SCSS EC 78. So Skyclaw, Slippy Sundays, East Coast, and I'm in this bracket because I have nothing better to do, and I want to play some Melee. And you know who's in my bracket? It's freaking Poet. And you know what we do when we fight each other for top 8 loser side after I go 1-2.
Yeah.
So we
What'd y'all
fight
do?
each other, losers side, top 8 qualifier. Game 1 I go Link, I like kind of destroy him. Games 2 and 3 I go Ganon because my Ganon is actually like my character. I lose. I go Marth again because Marth is a branded character and he pretty like handedly beats Poet's Peach. And then for some reason I switch to Sheik and go FD. And then
you're
I lose
noob.
2-3.
Yeah.
You're a genius.
But it was a fun set nonetheless. We were like trash talking, like sort of jokingly in the start.gg chat.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny because I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, Poet, my goat. And like on the actual like stream, I'm like, let's go, Poet, my goat. And like people are like, who is Poet? And I'm like, oh, Poet is Poet.
No,
So
so
that was
that's
funny.
that's just the most
Green
poet thing
Poet,
ever. I hate when people act like Poet's toxic. Like Poet's just funny. Like I've never found Poet to be any more toxic than like Godly, for example. Like Poet's not toxic.
Yeah, Poet's not toxic. I don't know if this is like an apps comparison, but I feel like Poet is like kind of in like a tier with some people like, I don't know, like Noif and like Jeff, where like
Noif
they can
is
say
way
some
more
stuff.
raw. Noif is actually his own tier of raw, bro. That man just does not have a filter.
I feel like he mostly just says it in like a good fun though. Like he
does it in good
doesn't
fun, that's
mean
because-
a lot of what he says.
Yeah.
The reason why it's in a good fun is because no one takes him seriously.
Yeah. Also, Noif, if you're watching this, why do you call my characters trash in Melee? I'm just kidding. I know the answer to that. Don't actually like say something about it.
Say it. Say it now. You have
Don't
to
say
say
it.
it. Now.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
They hurt my feelings.
Oh my gosh.
My favorite poet moment. Stop! I'm taking my mouth. Stop. My favorite poet moment is that like I was playing him like I think that day I had family over, so I didn't want to be in a VC. And so I was playing him like his Pocket Marth with my Juke Pup when my Juke Pup was still kind of new. And I was winning every game. And Jeff was in the VC with him. And Jeff saw me like, oh, yo, he's yelling, bro. He's screaming. And I was like, what the fuck? Bro, it was so absurd. Like, I've seen Poet yell and scream, but like, I've never seen yell and scream when I'm not even in it. Like, I'm just vibing playing games and I'm winning every game. And he's just yelling. It was absurd. Oh my God. But still,
Dude, the Smash
Man.
Flash community is something else.
it can be something else, bro. My favorite thing at the time, and I have way more weird stories, but I'm gonna keep it PG for this episode. My favorite moment was it was like I remember I swear there's some funny moment I remember. I remember it was the first time I ever got to play against Gax. And if you're aware of the history of SO2, Gax when I got into the team was like a god to me. Like Gax was like the legend of like early 2017, late 2016. Like Gax was the number one. Like Gax was like the 20X movement, the Anthers era. Like I was new to the scene, and Gax was like this being that I looked up to at the time. And I played him for like one game. It was like lag kills on a Chromebook back then. Don't laugh at me.
You were
And,
on a Chromebook.
Brother.
I'm sorry, I misheard you. I thought Gax might have been playing on the Chromebook.
No, I was playing Chromebook and me and Gax, it was like a mid % 2-star or something like that. It wasn't too bad. And I play him like I had the worst mentality because when you're new to the scene, you don't know how good you are, right?
Yeah.
And Gax told me, hey, you're all right at this game. And to me, the best point in the world saying I'm all right at the game is like a W. Like that's that was a moment that motivated me to actually want to take the game somewhat seriously. Like it was huge for me mentally, like huge for like, because in my mind, Gax is like my favorite player in the game's history. Gax was so important in my time because by the time I got seen, Kiaz was still very good, but he wasn't like the player he used to be, and Lunary wasn't even a constant in my head because he'd been long gone at that point. So Gax to me was like a Lunary of my era because I just didn't know any top players before. Like I was around when Oreo was still very good. I was around when Zare was still a good player. I was around when Prolific was about to get good or still good at this point. So I knew of the top players, but they were new faces to me. Gax felt like a legend, and I just love that moment. That's the moment that always sticks with me. Quack, what moment what's your favorite moment that's such a community, or like moment that you kind of sticks with you?
Man, I would say them all being so welcoming to me being a commentator and just becoming like sort of an authority figure. I'm not really an authority figure in this community. That's for people like Pika. I'm more of just doing the behind the scenes stuff because I just like competing nowadays. But I'd honestly say my favorite moment. It's a hard question. Plus, I'm too busy listening to you guys tell your funny stories to think about my own.
Okay, if you want. Okay, Pika, you got a story?
I got at least like two. Okay, so like, which do you want? Do you want the story which like kind of, made me realize where I was in the grand scheme of like the SSF2 competitive scene, or do you want the story where I felt like I was doing a lot of stuff like for the community and I felt like this is what I want to keep doing?
I think I'd rather hear the latter than the former because I feel like it's more inspirational.
Yeah, because the former is basically just me getting whooped by Jiracha and him saying, "Oh, you're not all too good," and I'm like, "Oh, well, crap."
Yeah, that's me when I first played Jiracha as well, bro. Jiracha, at least Jiracha still kind of grinds, but
so toxic unless you know him. Oh my god.
Yeah, if you don't know Jiracha, then if you don't know Jiracha, or more specifically, if Jiracha doesn't know you, then like you just kind of get like the blunt force of like a toxic club. It's like radiation poisoning, bro. You gotta hold it with both hands.
The first time I played against Jiracha, like I had played against a few top players, and like there are two top players who have ever like eviscerated me in every friend I ever played, and that is Hida. Hida's amazing at friendlies. Hida's absurd. Hida like 3-stocked me every game. It was never close, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it was Jiracha. Pixel also kind of bopped me, but that was like that was no Pixel was the best in the world. That didn't surprise me, or at least was close to it. Hida was like coming back when he destroyed me, and Jiracha wasn't even like a top 20 player. And Jiracha was not even like a super duper top player. He was destroying me. It was crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Jiracha grinds, bro. He at least he used to grind so hard.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
When I played him, it was 2020, and like I still have my trashy Lenovo from like 2011 and awful internet. And he would go like Marth against me, who was I had absolutely no idea like how competitive really like worked. I was playing like freaking Bandana D, dude. And like,
everyone has that era where they want to play a character like that.
My homies love.
I'd entered maybe like 2 tournaments at that point. I got like 17th at what's the one tournament? It was like Sipsy Saga or whatever. And I'm like I was kind of mauling over it because I could have gotten 13th. I was thinking, but I got DQ'd because my match versus Crimson Tanuki took 45 minutes, and we had like 3 decent. But that's another story. That's another story.
Crimson, that's a whole episode on Crimson, bro.
We need Crimson on the show for an episode, dude.
We can do episode like 4, bro. I got like 2 people booked already.
Yeah, we got friggin' Crimson on talking about taking Sheik the battlefield.
Oh my god. Yo, everybody in chat that day, they all started screaming, "Take Sheik to battlefield!"
The 4-HB after party. Baller, you were there. It was crazy.
I was there, yeah.
We just clowned
on
Crimson so much.
The funniest quiplash ever. The funniest quiplash ever.
I heard about that, man. I'm so sad I didn't get to go there.
Shout out to my brother for giving me his Steam account details so I could download Jackbox for that.
Of course, Pika player doesn't pay for it with those own money.
Hell nah, bro.
Bro, we're still 2 players. We're broke.
Yeah.
Bro.
If I can get something free, I'll get it.
Money.
Another favorite moment of mine, because Quackus, you still have one? Do you have one?
You know what? In all honesty, I would say that it was the sheer welcoming sense of the community that I felt. Towards like the staff all being actually friendly for once. Damn, I wish that was the same today.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the sheer like the first person I ever talked to I think was Tillerman, and he's like, go talk to J-Mac about this because I was gonna host a tournament like day 1 after joining the community, and then I go talk to J-Mac about this and I get no response. Typical J-Mac. But
J-Mac's just a quiet guy. He's not even rude. He just didn't like talking to people a lot. He's just a very solid guy.
I want to do commentary here, and then I talked to Skillerman again. Him being the god he is, refers me to Doc, or no, Ladner referred me to Doc.
No, here's the thing. No, I actually did something. What happens? I think it was either Horizon or it was Tiller Song where I wanted to do commentary before I even started doing commentary, like maybe a month later, right? What happens is I would go to SCL because everyone was doing the streams on SCL. Because I think it's when FFC was just starting to do streams, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I remember this right. And so SCL was like an SCL server, and like Doc himself was the main guy who got everyone commented, right? I think it was and I contacted Ladder directly because Ladder even told me no one else ever done like a commentary, like resume of any sort ever, or like asked to be a commentator directly ever before I did. And so like he was like, okay, I'll try to get contact with Vapor to try and do it. I think it was a performance or one of Vapor's tournaments he was doing, right?
It was probably performance.
It was performance.
That was around like late January.
Horizon. It was performance. I wanted to come to that, and he was like, "Okay, let's try to do it." And then I missed it, and then I missed that day entirely. I got busy, but it's the funny moment. I realized, like, damn, I was kind of balling a little bit. That was great.
That's why you're the big baller, dude.
That's why you're the silver evil.
I'll end you.
Quackus, that's completely irrelevant.
That is not relevant to the conversation.
That's why you're the big baller brainiac.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah. I guess if we're going on like a little tangent about streaming and stuff, y'all want to hear the story of how I got into like basically the most like booked streamer in SSF2 right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me set the scene for you really quickly. So the date is, I think it's like March 26th or 27th, and I have been asked by a good friend of mine now to Champy, aka the GOAT of EU, and he's like, hey, we just had this tournament and we're looking for someone to try and stream it. And I'm like, well, I've never streamed an SSF2 tournament before, but, well, how badly can it go? And so I'm like, okay, I'll throw my hat into the ring. I'll try this. And so I tried to get like commentators for it. I got Charvy, I think, and DSSG on for winners semis, and I forget who I had on for losers side, but it was like two different people. But anyways, it's Gene's birthday bash. I have like a custom little like graphic made for like the scoreboard and stuff. I was really proud of that. Like I'd asked it to Champy, hey, is there like a logo for the tournament? And he said yes. It's like this crudely drawn Jigglypuff. So I just put it in the corner with like some ribbons and stuff to give it like a birthday flair. And I'm like, I'm a master graphic designer now.
Graphic design is my passion.
Graphic design is my passion. That was literally what I was basically saying there. But yeah, back before Core Overlay, which is what basically every SSF2 streamer uses nowadays. That's Doc's basically scoreboard that we use for
simple
all this
format. Like, you know, like a lot of SSBU like SSBU, like tournaments have like a very specific format they use now. Like that's what someone's been working on recently.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? The one that always goes viral. Like, is that basically like that for SSF2? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I guess so. So this was back when I had to manually update the scores after every single game. So like I'd have to. It was actually text and stuff, and like. I transitioned between two scenes, one which was just like the regular game, and one which was the game and the overlay. And so that took like a little bit of time between every single set. And to start out Gene's birthday bash, you know what's great? I accidentally put the wrong name on the wrong person. So you know Ostrava, right? The Falco main from Scotland who plays like melee and stuff.
I thought it was a Peach main. I thought Ostrava was a Peach main. I'm sorry.
No, that's Amethyst, I think.
Yeah,
no, because Ostrava also played Peach, but I think he dropped him and started playing Falco or whatever.
Yeah, Ostrava plays like Falco, Sheik, Marth, like the melee characters and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a Peach at some point. But yeah, basically, I accidentally, after first set of winner semis, which is, I think, Ostrava versus Gene? I think, I can't quite remember. We go on to the next set, and I accidentally go to winners finals, which is to Champy versus Ostrava. But it was I labeled it as like winners semis to Champy versus Luigi WC. And so I'm like, oh, this Luigi WC guy apparently also plays the same Falco alt. And then everyone in chat was yelling at me, no, this is a different guy, this is a different set. And I felt so embarrassed. And I'm like, shoot, I'm never gonna be allowed to stream a tournament ever again, bro.
Growing pains. They're growing pains.
Yeah. I think though, like the rest of the stream went pretty smoothly though. And also, Quackus, I did end up streaming your birthday bash, and Baller, that was like one of the first tournaments that you were there for like comms and stuff.
Yeah, it was the worst. There was this one kid.
Little
kid was
Sephion, dude. Sephion, bro.
It was the worst. I think I remember. It was the worst. And I wasn't even trying to be serious. I knew it was only for fun, but like the Sephion kid actually made me want to. I wanted to Kurt Cobain myself for a second.
Literally made me bang my head onto my keyboard.
Dude, Sephion.
I muted him like near the end of the grants. I remember just straight muted him. Like, I'm not even gonna do this shit.
Yeah.
Bro, just
I kicked him from my Discord.
And I don't mean to be like rude towards Sephion if he's by chance watching this. I think he's long gone out of the community.
He quit, bro. He's done.
But if by chance,
I watch this Sephion, I hate you still.
If Sephion, if you're watching this, Sephion, watching this, I hope your parents. No, here's the guy. If Sephion, if you're watching this, I hope your parents give you a hug. I hope your parents give you a hug because you need one.
I think Sephion was kind of like the breaking point between whether I like accept commentators regardless, or I just have commentary-less streams. But like Sephion was not the straw to break the camel's back. I still like take basically anybody on for comms as long as like I've either like known them for a decent bit and I can trust them, or they are willing to do comms and they're not like 11. An 11-year-old Texan melee player who was formerly from the Netherlands and apparently has wins on the top 10 in Houston or something. Like something crazy like that, because Sephion and I played a little bit of Melee, like, it was like a few days after, and he was saying all these, like, whack stuff about, like, being good at Melee in Texas and things like that. And, like, he was part of a crew in the Netherlands, or, like, an esports organization or something, and I'm like, what the hell is this kid on about?
He honestly even sounded like he was underage. I don't know why Doc told me to look.
How is an 11-year-old on Discord?
That's what I'm saying, man. This man obviously should not be on Discord.
How is he beating top 10 players in Houston, and he's from, like, the Netherlands or whatever? Like is Houston just that bad at Smash?
No, because, like, I don't know if Houston specifically is good, but I know Texas is not a bad region at all. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, the things this kid was saying were kind of whack.
Very whack.
And then the best part of the birthday bash, the auto-tune.
No. My favorite part of it was when I was roasting Chump for like 5 minutes.
Yo, I remember that. Chump Patrol got so upset with me afterwards in DMs. He was like, that bar dude seems really mean. And I'm like, yeah, that's baller. That's totally baller.
I didn't even know he messaged me, to be honest. I didn't even know that. I
remember I called him afterwards and I'm like, this whole birthday bash went in pieces. And like, yeah, that bar dude seemed really mean. And I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, that's him. Yeah, that's baller. If you don't know baller, that's baller. If you do know baller, that's still a baller.
That's the baller, dude. That's what they call it.
That's how it is, man. Like, the thing is, like, Pika, you were there, right? Like, was I even lying during that? When I said that, I wasn't even lying. I just said, like, hey, why are you leaving the whole community because of one person? Like, don't do that.
Did Trump leave because of?
No, he said, yeah.
Okay. I have some stories, but they're incredibly not PG, and this is the first episode, so we're keeping it
Holy.
PG.
Showing self-restraint.
Yeah, I know. It's a first. Thank you.
There is a first for everything.
Very much.
All cash and/or credit.
Bro, we're not paying you to be on this commentary. This is free. This is no one's paying you to be on this podcast, bro. You're not exclusive.
Bro, you want to hear some more whack, like, commentary moments?
Yeah.
Alright, so I guess, like, transitioning out of Chump Patrol, because you know how he used to run, like, this tournament series called Flash Mob or whatever?
Flash Mob, yeah, he actually tried to bring that back recently, but
no, he didn't try to bring it back. It's just that this, you know the Flash Flood, like, stuff that I do. They used to, those tournament series. They used to be called Flash Mob. Like, the very first one was called Flash Mob, and I'm like, okay, this is Flash Mob.
I remember that. And then Patrol got pissed off or something, didn't he?
Somebody got angry and went into the server and is like, hey, change the name of this right now, because there was previously a Flash Mob tournament series for SSF2, and I think they had like some edgy like Sonic OC as their profile picture, and they're like, if you don't do it, your doom will be imminent. It was something crazy like that. So eventually they ended up changing it to Flash Flood. But yeah, the thing about Flash Mob was that there was somebody in the Discord server, Star was their name, and they wanted to get into commentary, so they're like, hey, sign me on to do this Flash Mob stuff. And so I streamed Flash Mob 1, and it was like, yeah, the person doesn't really know, like, Smash Flash, but they know general, like, fighting game stuff enough, but they kind of need a co-commentator, someone who knows, like, things about the game. So I tried to find anybody I could, I don't remember who exactly I got on. I think I got a lot of like 4HB, like DSSG was there. I think Brill ended up being there for a bit. Loser Sevens, I actually ran out of commentators. I brought in this is a story. All right, I brought in Varlo to commentate his own set because he was interested, and from thenceforth, Varlo has not entered like any tournaments or commentated anything. I think I scared him off from competitive SF2 for life.
Oh my lord!
Like he hangs around in this one like server for like big grinders and stuff. At least that's what I hear. But that I don't know how often he participates in like anything relating to Smash Flash anymore. But that's besides the point. Anyways, back to Flash Mob, and so like we had a lot of different commentators on. Star was on for a decent amount, and then we get to like losers finals. There was a lot of 4HB members in there. There was Brill, there was DSSG, Noah was there, and then Jeff gets in there at like the tail end. It's like the last game, and then everybody just starts like chanting like 4HB, and they all like chant like 4HB forever, or not forever, but like just stuff about 4HB, and we inaugurate Star as an honorary member of 4HB in the live in the tournament grand finals, and it's like the craziest like comms ever. It's so chaotic. And that's an average SSF2 tournament stream commentary, dude. That's just how it is sometimes. Like,
my favorite moment about commentary schedules is that I remember it was full to 5 actually, because I was doing a majority of the top. Like I did all the prelims, and then we didn't do prelims. We did like top 8 and then top 4 before we started like the last 3 sets of the tournament. I think you asked me to let JG in instead of me because like I do a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah, I wanted to give you a bit of a break because I knew you had like done a lot of stuff. I was imagining like, oh, maybe he's like running low on energy at this point because he's been commentating for 2 hours straight, and I also wanted to give JG a bit of a chance.
You know what's crazy? That commentator is probably the worst commentator of all time. I'm gonna keep
was it JG best boy?
Yes, it was the worst commentary ever. It wasn't even just Piercy. Best Boy was not the issue. Best Boy actually a decent commentary.
Best Boy's good. He just has like a little bit of an accent. I feel that
the accent is the issue. I think you get used to it very quickly. The issue is that you need a commentator with passion behind him, because he's not going to give you an aggressive commentary style because he's not that guy.
No, Best Boy is like the funny sort of guy. He's like
funny, but also kind of honest and kind of. He's funny. He's kind of like laid back. He's not really worried too much, and that's fine. That's a legit style. He would work
with Quackus because that's like sort of the Quackus thing too.
That's
laid back, funny.
What I'd say. I mean, honestly, it sometimes feels a little mellow, and sometimes gets hard to pay attention.
I understand, but like what you need to do to make sure Best Boy is like he's himself can control himself. But you need a commentator who can hold the lead. JG cannot hold the lead. Yeah, JG can't hold himself.
Literally
JG
a bad
is like a very much like a co-commentator.
You recently gave us 2 co-commentators.
Yeah.
And it was the most boring sets ever. I went back because you uploaded them kind of recently. I went back to some of those sets that I didn't get to watch because I was mostly knocked out after
you were sleeping. You were sleeping from the commentary.
I was just watching the background and like runs. I'm like, I was kind of napping, bro. It was just a nap.
SSF2 commentary to sleep / relax to.
Lo-fi beats to study to, bro.
Yeah,
like,
that's
Jirachi
literally
said
a
himself.
comment. Yeah, Jirachi literally said it in the Twitch chat. He's like, I put on lo-fi beats instead of these commentators.
I remember that.
Even Tiller even asked where Quackus was.
He did? I didn't see that.
Tiller in the comments during top 4 literally asked, "Where's Quackus?"
Oh my god.
Quackus, Tiller knows your name and respect.
Listen, don't know why y'all chasing after me. I feel harassed. I'm a spy.
It's not even disrespect, but like Tiller respects you enough to give you the respect, saying, "Where's Quackus?"
Where's Quackus? Oh my god.
I wasn't there. Quackus wasn't there because usually like you would be there, or I would be there, or even Doppy would be there. Like it was just a co-commentator. It's like white bread and eating another piece of white bread and just eating both the white bread.
Yeah, like there's not even like any butter or like any sort of topping to it.
No meat, no PBJ.
There's no cold cuts, there's
bread,
no cheese, there's no like lettuce, tomato, bacon. Anything. You can't have a BLT with it.
No ketchup. You can't have any. There's no B or L or T. It's just bread.
There's no B or T. It's just an L.
True. But here's the thing about Doppy. Doppy like will just pop in randomly, and it's the freaking weirdest moments. And then I'll just like leave all of a sudden, and I'll be like, "So Doppy, what do you think about the?" Oh wait, no, he's gone. And I'm like, "What happened to him?" And then they all told me, "Oh, he left like 10 minutes ago." I'm like, "Thank you guys so much. I've been talking to him for thin air for 10 minutes."
I think the thing with Doppy is that like he appears whenever he like has like a little bit of time, because like he's told me a lot that like he sometimes shows up for commentary whenever he like feels like it, or he has like a little bit of time, but usually he's busy doing something else, or he's just not in a position where he can like commentate. Like I remember he was at like a movie theater or something, and he like stepped outside for 10 minutes and commentated. And it was crazy. Like you could hear cars in the background like passing by on the highway as he's like talking about, I don't know, I think it might have been like the Champy sandbag.
No, it's my favorite. Another amazing moment of commentary, and like no, it's actually a terrible moment of commentary. Is that when here's the thing? What happened is that I think it was what tournament was this? Sunshine Smashdown, or was it different?
Smashdown.
Was
it
it
NA or
Monty
EU?
do?
Huh?
Was it the one which was the one that had like Ender and Rage on commentary? I believe, right?
Ender Rage Flavian. That was freaking, what's it called?
Was it the,
I think it was
Sunshine
Smashdown NA, yeah.
Yeah, I believe so, right?
Yeah,
and
that
what
was the
happens
one.
that like what happens that they asked me and Quackus to do prelim before, because we had to prepare the prelim sets, right? We prepared the prelim sets.
Yeah.
We did the prelim sets. Me and Quackus, so we hopped off and let them do top 8. And what happens that Monty is carrying the commentary so hard because Rage is trying to be funny and he's actually doing a decent job, but like he's not in it. And
Yeah.
Ender had the worst mic ever. Ender was a robot for half of that time. He was robot, especially at the end. He was robot time. Transformers, robots in disguise, bro. He was struggling.
Hey, Baller, did you ever see the freaking East Coast versus the rest of the world trailer? Ender's mic during that was worse. Ender has gotten a better mic.
I'm sorry. You can play tapping right
You
now.
are listening to technically an upgrade in quality when you listen to
That's
modern
crazy.
Ender, dude.
I know, and it was crazy. Like I remember watching because I'm like, JMI's good audio quality, Toa's good audio quality. Pixel is the most garbage mic ever. He still is a bad mic.
It's
Pixel's mic is,
understandable at least, like without like subtitles.
like Gali, I think had like a decent mic. He still isn't like, mind blowing. Ender says like I can't even hear him half the time. Vapor's a good mic, but like Ender's is bad, right? And it's still bad. And he lagged half the time. He wasn't even good either. He wasn't even good. And the crazy thing is that like Ender lagged out so hard and Rage was so out of it that I had to hop in during like during quarters and semis. Lose Found didn't happen, right? Because
Yeah.
DQ, right? I had to do lose quarters and lose semis with Monty myself. Because Rage and Ender just dipped off early.
And I think I had to hop on for grands.
Yeah, you
You
Quackus,
Monty,
Grants.
kind of godlike. You Monty low key.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Because
also
the reason why I didn't do grands is because Quackus said he wanted to do grands, and I'm like after it loses, because after quarters and semis, I was like,
No, Bob, you did come on for grands with me. Monty left, I think.
no,
He
no,
did?
it was
No.
Monty finished it. Monty finished.
Yeah,
I remember.
Flavian went the
sure.
distance.
I wanted to reverse time and have Baller in there instead of me because Baller does shit and I don't pay attention.
No, you seem like you're in it a little bit, but here's the thing. I think the issue is that Monty is so professional that he has to make everyone else professional. So I can kind of go in my professional bag, and I try to, because honestly, I'm not gonna catch up to him in analytical work 100%, but like I can kind of get it. I was trying my best, bro. I was clicked up a little bit, like watching. Like near the end, I was actually kind of in it with Monty, which is rare because usually Monty has like a clear barrier between himself and a lot of people, unless they're like people of his similar respect level or something like that. But like, I felt like I was in it during those last like 2 or 3 sets I was doing before y'all kind of hopped in. But I had never seen Quackus so quiet in my life.
Yeah, you
Bro,
were
it was
were like mad quiet. I think because Flavian kind of just like carries commentary a lot, and then he like drops for like 5-6 seconds, lets you talk about something, and then he interrupts like randomly, like, oh yeah, and also, and he like goes on a little tangent about something you mentioned earlier.
It's reasonable. It's not bad.
I remember that time when
back and forth style. The back and forth style of commentary is actually reasonable. I remember first off, why have y'all not uploaded the finals matches of 5v5? I still can't find them on YouTube. I don't know why y'all didn't upload
That's on
them.
Doc. That's on Doc was the streamer.
Okay, so that's one issue, and then two, I was doing I think semifinals. I didn't do finals. I did semifinals, both the semifinals with Monty, right? And like me and him are like the most mature commentary I'd ever done. Like we were both like I remember especially the Pika Leku match. We are both like very much like very serious. You were watching it, right, Pika?
Yeah, I was watching that, and I was kind of annoyed at Flavian because I thought he wasn't really talking about like a lot of like chibi stuff with like the knowledge of the character. So I was like really typing in chat a lot, but I was listening like a lot to that one in particular.
I don't even feel like I was super specific either, but I think I was a little more specific with chibi stuff than he was. But that's
because you fought me before, you know what to expect.
I fought Knighted as well. I fought a few game watches before.
Yeah, you fought me. You fought Knighted.
Sorry, my brain turned off for a second. My bad. Chibis.
You fought the best chibi in NA, and you fought the best chibi in Florida.
Congratulations.
No. It's the best chibi NA and the second best chibi in Florida. I'm joking.
No, Knight's West Coast. Knight's West Coast. You realize?
So the best West Coast, best East Coast. Okay, that's fine. That's funny.
Yeah, we
right?
World continent spanning chibi robos, dude. And then where's Hedon?
Hedon, you talking about?
Yeah, because
Hedon is East Coast.
Okay.
He
probably like
sure
near the top, but he apparently had like a chibi robo secondary.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
But okay, that's some funny stuff.
The best. What can I say?
Okay, let's get into this like next section of this podcast, and that is these last two PRs. Man,
oh
these last two PRs, bro. These last two PRs. Milo, first let's talk about the first one, which was Summer Days, right?
Summer Days, where to start?
First off, the event didn't even run that well because it just kind of started, and I feel like most people didn't even pay attention.
No.
And two, half of people didn't even pay attention. I only got to play like half of my sets, not even on Friday. And then, first off, why are you making all the round robin before top 8 matches 2 days? I feel like you could easily get all of them done in 1 day.
Yeah, you could squeeze them into 1 day. I think the thing is, because it was supposed to be experimental, they were trying to experiment with what was a good like time frame for people to be able to play their matches, but then they went ahead and made a PR, which takes away the entire point of that.
Another thing is that not even that many people signed up. It was like 30 people, I think. It wasn't that many people who signed up, at least. They didn't feel like that many.
It's like
even less people
about the
actually
same as like your average like PR tournament, but it was missing a lot of like the closest to the top, because the top 6 clearly Tiller, AK Godly, J-Mac Vapor, and then you had 2 Hands there who went on a run. Those were your top 6, and then everyone else was pretty clearly like a bit behind them.
Charvy was very good. Don't get Charvy like that. Charvy was there. Lermans. There were some good players, but I agree with you that like, the depth was not there. A lot of people just bounced out of this one. The issue is that I feel like, especially here's the thing: the pools were terribly seeded. The pools were not balanced.
Bird did not see the pools at all.
Here's the thing: but what was your pool? Right? Your pool was like MG Gun.
My pool, no, that was AK Astral Rigel, and Yusha and this freaking Olshay guy. I remember.
Yeah, whatever. Right. And
Throwout was there.
Something like that, right? And then one of the pools was like MG Gun, J-Mac. It was like one of the super good player, right?
Yeah, and then there was Jeff's pool, which is freaking Jeff, Danik, Lermans, Vapor,
Danik, Jeff, which is very
Ace was there
easy,
too.
Right?
Ace was there too.
Ace that's nowhere near as tough as the other two. But the hard pool was the one I was in. Well, I was in had Tiller, Godly, Charvy, Bird, Brill, me. It was like one other person I forgot. It was a Dewdrop as well. It was like the most difficult pool ever.
I was in your pool, and that pool sucked, man. Pool 8 fucking blew. No cap.
It was like all people. Because let's say, for example, this pool was like top 4 came out, because the top 3 are obviously Charvy, Bird, Godly. Like Dewdrop, Brill, Bird, me are all people who could realistically get 4th in that pool. Like that's a hard 4th person, right?
That pool is actually literally the hardest pool. Nobody else disagreed. I was talking about this in a VC with another person, with Zeus and a bunch of other people, and I'm literally crying because all my homies are in pool 4, and I just want to play actual matches where I have a chance to get a win.
Yeah,
I get to realize, guess what? You get to play Tiller, Brill, Dewdrop, Get DQ for Baller, Bop, and half the others. And there was at least
Char-
one I could realistically won. No offense to Bob, he's a good player, but I could probably.
No, he's not.
No,
No, he's not.
he was the original leader of YG. I joined.
Yeah.
I have a story about YG. If I can go on about that.
Yeah, let me say
Go
it
on
real
about
quick.
it. Go on about it. We're all here for the stories.
All right, so 2020, I'm trying to get into competitive. I discover crews. I'm like, this looks fun, and well, actually, the story goes back even further than that, because I was originally in the freaking Smash Ultimate crew server, SCS or whatever, because it was kind of like a meme thing. I didn't have Ultimate at the time, actually. But like a lot of Smash Ultimate players were like, hey, let's go ahead and make a Smash Flash crew server. They didn't know about SCL, so they made like SSF2 crew servers or whatever, SSF2 CS. And there was like 20 people there maybe, and there were like 3 or 4 crews. I'd consider myself personally like the best player to come out of there, because nobody else like actually played after that. But then SCL discovered us, and like we basically merged the entire SSF2 CS server into a big crew called freaking Stinky Kids. It was the worst crew name ever. Yeah, it was the worst crew name ever. It was led by this one guy who's kind of infamous in SCS. Psyducks is his name.
Never heard of him.
I can direct you to his rap videos that he made. But that's gonna be
Please.
later.
I hate people.
I do too. But like, basically, it's like season like 6 or something, and I think I forget who we faced in the first one, in the first like week. But I think it might have been like either like HP or UL or SC, one of those 3 that we fought.
Which team was HP?
Hope Patrol.
Who was Hope Patrol?
That's the precursor to 4HB.
Patrol.
It was either Hope Patrol or White Girls.
God. No,
HP
Hope
or
Patrol
was
WG.
White Girl. What is White Girl?
Merger crew for 4HB.
Okay, so the two. Somehow like SLS was like a TNT, and then it was like just called SLS.
Yeah,
Never
SLS
mind.
was TNT back then, I think. But yeah, we
that's
fought
fine.
somebody in our first week. I think what ended up happening was week 1 we lost like 11-0 in a 4v4.
Yeah.
So it's pretty clear that none of like the Ultimate players really have like a grasp on SSF2. But I'm the only SSF2 player there. I actually don't really get a chance to play in any of the CBs because I'm always busy during the times that they schedule. But they only schedule for like 2 weeks, and then they transfer the Psyducks friggin' dips, and then they transfer ownership to some other guy, and I end up like trying to make like the scheduling and stuff for the crew, and then eventually they just transfer ownership all over to me. And then week 4, I'm like, you know what? Screw this. Nobody here is interested in playing at all. I'm just gonna dissolve the crew. So I do. And then I go ahead and I try and join like a random other crew. I think I joined YG. And Bob was the leader at the time, and I'm like, hey, I really just want to like play in a crew battle because I didn't get any chances to do it last season. I think this is around like the start of season 7, so it was like early 2021, and Bob was like, oh yeah, sure, we'll put you in. And you know what happens? Week 1 passes, I think I'm busy, he doesn't put me in. Week 2, I'm there, he doesn't put me in. Week 3, he puts me as a sub and then doesn't put me in. Week 4, again, I don't get put in, even though I was there. This continues for like 3 more weeks, and I'm like, you know what, screw this, I'm out. And then I think YG, like, they had an ownership mess at that time also. So like, it got transferred around to a bunch of different people. You know Yusuke?
Vaguely.
Yeah, I know.
He was like the leader of YG for a bit after freaking Bob. I think his name at the time was Brawlscope actually. After Bob dipped. And then so like YG was kind of just floundering for a little bit, and then they like got their act together a bit for the next season.
Okay, so let's go back to the story about these pools. These pools were terribly seated. So that's one issue. And what happened was, I think Astral got out. What happens is that it's 9 people pool, or it's supposed to be, even though the 4th pool has 7 people, so it's already not well balanced anyway. But that's beside the point. But that happened, right? When you don't have a reasonably even number of people, but whatever.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that Astral, I think, gets second in his pool, but he doesn't manage to get out. Because he gets out because he couldn't play on Sunday, which was top 8.
Yeah,
or top whatever, right?
Or she.
So
she only entered to just like mess around in the Friday Saturday pools. And like, because it was non-PR,
right? What
or
happens is
supposed to.
somehow Jeff was like seconds because he beat Le Mans again. So like he got second in his pool behind Vapor. And then what happens is that instead of having to do these little top two, whatever, right? They played another round robin.
There
Like,
was a gauntlet. I was there. It was me, Charvy, Gunslinger, Le Mans, and J-Mac. And those were the people who did not make it out originally, but they had like decent enough records.
Yeah,
And then you know what's even funnier? It ended up being that J-Mac made it out pretty clearly. I lost all my sets, but Charvy, Gunslinger, and Le Mans were all like even, so they had to do a third bracket just for them.
I think what happened is that
Charvy
Charvy beat Gun beat Le Mans beat Charvy. If I remember that's right.
Yeah, and then they all beat me, and they all lost to J-Mac.
Yeah, so it makes sense. So,
and the game counts were all even.
Yeah, so that the tiebreakers, bro. It happens a lot in Summit. It happens here, bro. So like, what happens that the tournament is already not running well because there are many reasons we already mentioned. So so the bracket was so bad they had to run another gauntlet that is like not even on Chan. It's on like a seating dock. You can't even find it.
I have it actually. I could pull it up.
It's so specific that no one can like, because like with other brackets you can just go on challenge, you'll find them, right? You just search these stuff or you're in the server, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or there's like links to it, but like this is like not easy to find. And then the tournament happens and like Tiller destroys everyone because he's playing amazing, and then like he wins the tournament. So the tournament is like a mess, but it finished good. It's a mess, but you can try to write it off. This event right here. Oh my lord, how is it worse? So what happens is that this event runs Swiss bracket instead of round robin.
Yeah,
so
beat the Heat we're talking about, by the way.
Yeah, beat the Heat, the second event, which is this week, right? And it's still currently going on. I think top 8 is currently going on right now.
Yeah.
And so this is a Swiss bracket. If you know what Swiss bracket is, it like say for example you haven't watched some of the summits, or maybe you don't even watch CS:GO, for example, and watch those group stages. What happens is that if you win a set, you have to play. For example, you all start 0-0. Win a set, you play against someone who's 1-0. If you lose a set, you play against someone who's 0-1, and this keeps going until either you're out of the tournament, in some cases like CS:GO, for example, or you're finished all your matches, and then you can go from there. So the format's already weird for SF2 because in a game like CS:GO, for example, the reason why they do this is because CS:GO games last like an hour. One map is like an hour, so you can't do a round robin for everyone. You just do a specific amount of matches. Everyone plays at least 3 matches, but you know what I'm saying? Like you clearly can construct it, and they run best of 3s.
Yeah.
They do best of 1s actually. CS:GO does best of 1s, but they do best of 1s, and like they do this group because CS:GO games last a long time. Best of 2 sets don't even last 15 minutes. Best of 3 they last like 8 minutes. 10
like
minutes.
the maximum amount an SSF2 set can last is like maybe like 27 minutes, I'd say, if you take into account bans and it's all like timeouts. Which may be the closest. We did actually get like my set versus Vapor.
My 30-minute sets, the stuff of legends.
My set versus Vapor was something like it was like 22 minutes because it was best of 3, 2-1, and they were all like under 2 minutes. They went to under 2 minutes.
So let's say, for example, more likely it's 20 minutes to 15 minutes. If it's game 3, but sometimes 10 minutes to 8 minutes is best 2 rows, right? So these games are quick, and I understand the point of like giving everyone an opportunity to play at least 4 sets or 5 sets. But the issue is that 1, they made everyone have to play initially 8 sets to get in the brackets, right? So it's already exhausting. 8 sets is not easy. Having the mentality to finish 8 sets is not like. In groups, you have to play 8 sets. That's just a group, right? You can just do, you can DQ if you want to, whatever, right? But the bracket actually affects everyone because this is a Swiss bracket, not a round robin. So it affects everyone. Every head-to-head matters, right?
Yeah, and every match has to be played before the next round can go on, so you can't even like split it up across days.
Yeah, you can't split it up across days. You can't even split up the order you want. You have to have a very specific order and very specific matchup. So it's already not take forever, whatever, right? And what happens is that the bracket messes up so hard that Bird ended up having to the TO of both these events, right? And Bird's an amazing TO. I love him, but these are clearly
Bird,
not great.
Has a lot of stuff on his plate, and like he does fall into like a lot of like traps that like, no, the majority of the community wants this. They want you to make it 4 rounds. They want this to be a PR event. Now, when you announced it via PR tournament notifications, stuff like that.
So stuff like that. And so what happens is that like the top. We do 5 rounds instead of 8. So like initially, even the bracket like broke, and like they had to redo the scores again because they messed up the bracket somehow, and so that's already annoying. And so that happens that they managed to somehow seed a top 12 bracket. They managed to find a top 12 bracket with a few people DQing, letting Vapor DQ his last round, and I think
Vapor
like
Gunslinger, they DQ'd.
They both DQ'd their last 1 or 2 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
So it was in Zeluxiox and Souls getting into top 12.
No, it's Lux and Jay who got in, I think.
No, Jay getting in was Rigel. Jay beat Rigel.
Yeah, Jay beat Rigel, but Souls, did he?
Soul beat Silver. Soul beat Silver.
Okay, he beat Souls. He beat Silver Eagle. Yeah. So they had at least like decent wins.
So Soul making it is not too weird, and then
Jay, this was kind of like to be expected. Weird. Like he usually does make like 13th or 9th. So like making top 12 is weird, not unexpected. Yeah.
What happens at Zeluxiox? Because Vapor GQ, Zeluxiox won a total of 2 of the 4 sets. One of them was DQ, and the only person he beat was like a scrubby Lloyd player.
I literally beat you in tournament every single time we played. I could have made top 8.
I have like a 5-0 or 6-0 record on Zelux in sets. I think he has yet to take a game off of me.
Wonderful.
It's almost as bad as me versus Bobby, but Bobby took a game versus me when I sandbagged and won ZSS game 1.
Wait, he couldn't beat you?
When I played Bobby, the most recent set we played, I was kind of joking. I'm like, he's probably figured out my Chibi Robo. I'm gonna mix him up with the Zero Suit, which was a stupid decision. But I did go Zero Suit game 1. He kind of like thrashed me, and then game 2, I end up going to Chibi after he's like threatening to lag clause me, and I'm so like pent up about this. Like, why are you doing this, man?
Okay, whatever, right? And so happens that J-Mac doesn't want to play the rest of the tournament, right? Because this tournament is...
Yeah, I'm just talking about Bobby's beautiful DI versus Rasengan. Remind him of the Bobby DI. H-Box DI ain't got shit on that.
But continue, Bobby.
What I'm trying to say is that J-Mac, it's like, this tournament's like 8 p.m. at this point, my time zone, so it's already pretty late, right?
Yeah, it started at like 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Or like, these around 7:30 my time zone. Like, so he's in Atlanta, right? So it's already East Coast time, right? And he's like a teenager, so and like it's like he has to go to bed at a reasonable time, so he just DQs out, and Zlux somehow magically winning a total of 1 set in total.
He won 2 games and he got to 7th.
It's the worst seeding ever, because what happens is that most of the top 12s already played each other, and so what happens is that you have people who have to play each other again. You have people who have terrible draws for them. It's terrible. It's awful. And the thing is that both of these experimental tournaments are PR, and so it ends up resulting in like the most fraudulent of fraudulent. Like, it's so insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what's stupid? Like, both corners of losers round 1 were rematches from earlier in the Swiss pools that were both like 3-0s. Like Rigel versus Jay and me versus Billy, which were both like, I think Jay and I both 2-1'd our opponents, but then we got 3-0'd. Which I don't want to talk about my set. I don't want to talk about my set.
Don't you just absolutely love Billy Bob Joe Man at last stock?
Honestly, Billy's like a good dude, honestly.
He's a good dude, but he plays a cringe-ass character. But enough of that, because we can't be toxic on a podcast.
I think Billy said, like, he only really entered because he was under the assumption it wasn't PR.
Oh, was it PR? Wait, is it PR?
He was under the assumption that it wasn't, but it is PR.
Oh, hold on. What is
this is completely different from Summer Days, because Summer Days, for to not put a pun on, but Summer Days was for days advertised as not a PR tournament. It's experimental. That means that none of the results are going to matter. None of the results are going to affect you on the seeding dock. Guess what Bert does? He pings PR and tournament notifications. So now PR players who actually care about the seeding dock and stuff are joining the tournament. And Bird isn't even like seeding the tournament correctly. Like, we already said this, but yeah, the horrors that were Pool A and the relative luxury of Pool D, like.
And all my homies love Pool D.
Yeah, like the people who enter the tournament were all like you ping PR tournament notifications, it now has to be PR. And
Well, not lie
so-
though. I will say this: it was very fun to be in Pool A because I got to Ganon Ditto into DK Ditto Tillerman, and I hit a saucy combo after he sauced me up.
Wow.
I hit a DK
the
combo on
stories.
Tillerman.
These stories are, you only hear these stories coming from Quackus whenever he enters the tournament, dude.
Because
Yeah, he goes-
I only enter. I will DQ if people do not ditto me.
Bro, I love
DQing is
Quackus.
is my best friend and also my only friend because nobody loves me in tournament. They
Oh,
all say
that's so sad. I feel bad. That's awful. You need a hug, bro.
I need a PQB podcast premium special.
Oh my
I need-
gosh, dude.
Hey, everybody that's watching this video, 1 like equals 1 F to pay respects to Quackers.
One like is one lucky bracket for someone who doesn't have to play Rigel into Billy for 9.
Seriously, what is that? Why would you give me that when you have literally Piano has to fight Souls? Like Billy has to fight Jay, Insider has to fight Zlux, but I have to fight Rigel. Literally
That's
everyone
crazy,
in
bro.
losers round 1 like was given like a pretty free like set. Like Rigel got Jay, which could have been close because Jay had beaten him earlier. Insider got Souls, which was definitely, there was no way Souls is gonna win that in like Sora Zelda, especially considering it's Insider. And then Zlux just gets the free pass. He gets the go next, dude. He gets the go to free parking, collect $200 from the bank, bro. But I get Billy Bob. And you know what's
Man.
worse? If Billy had actually upset the person he was supposed to be in winners round 2, I would have fought Godly.
You think you can be godly over Billy?
No.
But-
There's no chance out of hell that I'm beating Godly. I'm sorry, but Godly is at a different level. It's like you have the top level of players, and then you have like the top level.
Yeah,
And, like,
there's like
I can contend
with the
with the
emphasis
top
on the
level.
word top. With the emphasis on the word top,
Like there's
especially.
the tippiest of the top. But I can compete with the top level. I cannot compete with the tippiest of the top. They are something else.
Pause.
Yeah.
That's a pause. That's not the
Hammer
point.
time.
No, stop hammer time, bro. Why are you out here messing up, bro? I thought we
Fuck
got
that.
you the bare minimum, my guy.
You're right. I
Shit.
fucked up. Sorry.
Please God.
My man
Oh,
left.
oh my gosh, bro. Bro, that's a good that's a good gag. That's a good one.
One thing I'll say is just next time, Bird, please just stick to a double elimination. Please.
Or just don't make it a PR tournament when it's an
Yeah.
untested format.
True. Honestly, we're all gonna be having some words with Bird Brain. Bird Brain, I love you, man, but what the fudge?
After
Bird,
after
you
what's
can join
summer
the
days.
podcast.
Or yeah,
Ooh,
he
you
can
be a special
join. He can talk
guest.
about the woes of TOing.
Yeah,
Yo,
being a
okay, so,
player
being a
and being a
TO
person, etc.
Mhm.
Being a TO kind of blows, but it's also really fun given like the fact that people actually listen to you. It's kind of like what gives people feelings of power, money, status, being a TO, and being able to DQ people for being a jackass towards them.
Fame.
Yeah, TOing can be fun. I've TO'd a few EU events. They're not as large scale, but
TO and MSS everybody, so behave or
oh
I'm
yeah,
putting
true. MSS too. Yeah, I'm the TO
MSS
for the
too.
EU bracket there.
Woo!
Bro, MSS2 is gonna be huge because, bro, we are in the most exciting time to be an SF2 player right now. With Pixel being banned, like if Pixel kept playing, he would have been considered for #1. Extra's been on fire recently. AK won a tournament recently. J Mac and Tiller are still J Mac and Tiller. Gali won Ladners, which was a huge event.
And Fight Club too.
And
which
Fight Club
counts, I
too.
guess.
Like you get like everyone near the top. Like Vapor still very much near the top. Vapor could absolutely win stuff.
Mhm.
Like everyone near the top could realistically be each other, right?
Yeah, and you also have like some up and coming stories and stuff. Like you have Two Hands, who's like breaking in.
Yeah.
You have Billy, who's always like pretty in contention. Prolific, if he decides to return and play. Rage, like what'll he do? Like,
Yeah, like what if Zare comes back? How could he win it back and become the MSS champion himself.
Honestly, he just comes for the hugest events, and then all of a sudden he just suddenly places well, and that's why he's top 5.
No, he didn't attend Betaversary. I feel
Okay,
like there are like the
I
Zaire
picked
type
one. Let's
players.
play
I feel like there's
people.
like the Zaire type players who only show up for like a certain like big event. Solus,
Yeah.
Zaire, Ken World. They literally
Let's
all
play
only showed up for MSS or Betaversary.
No, Solus
or
got
Solus
second
and
at last.
LCC. That was a crazy run, but he only showed
Bro.
up at that event because it was pretty stacked.
LCC.
What I'm trying to say is like, can Zaire become the champion that he formerly was? Can Prolific, who just beat Tiller a few weeks ago, right? Can he do it? Can he destroy everyone, right? Can you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people. Will Jake come back this week and try to do some damage? Because he almost won a PR not too long ago.
Yeah,
Like-
just 5 and 8, he got second.
Like, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, a lot of people can, like, just come up and blow people away. And there's still, like, the dark horse, like the Billies, the Garths, the MGs, the Enders, like a lot of gunslingers, like the dark horse that can just kind of cause one upset, mess up back piano as well, Pika player.
Hey, what?
Bro, you beat
no.
Billy, man.
I beat his Link. I can't beat his Wallow. He's gonna go Wallow against me for every set for the rest of the time, and I'm not gonna win.
Okay, fair. But still, like, there's people who can, like, cause upsets, or Rigel as well. Like, a lot of people who could, like, realistically either cause upsets, shake up the bracket, or maybe even Platinum players try and sneak in like Klein did before. Like, what if somehow freaking Surik went to Betaversary NA? Sorry, MSS NA somehow.
No, he's gonna rule LATAM, dude. He's gonna rule LATAM. Also, I'm pretty sure they're still gonna keep like the you can only enter one thing.
Okay, fair.
So,
what I'm trying to say
like
is, like,
Vapor
yeah.
and Rigel and like everybody else who's in like that fringe zone can only really enter one.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is, like, hey, like, MSS2 is not gonna be free. MSS2 might be the most important tournament since Tiller Saga, to be honest, or at least after our 6th.
Well,
Betaversary.
it really will be.
The Betaversary was
MSS
huge, but I feel like
people.
the hype Betaversary was larger than the actual tournament. Weirdly enough,
Yeah.
like the Meta 5 sponsor was huge, and I think that the event itself was so big, but I feel like the hype before it was like absurd. Like, this event is kind of more low key in its presence than the first MSS, which felt like everyone was going to be at it. But I feel like this event's going to be even more important.
Yeah, because
This
we're
could
gonna
decide
have everyone
yeah.
who's everyone there, and then some.
Not just that, but also
The thing is, MSS, the original one, it brought back a crap ton of players, and it's also in part, of course, thanks to the documentary. Shouts to Bolo
Yeah, it
for
was
that.
good timing.
yeah, shouts to him.
MSS2, I think, could have even more potential.
Not
We
just that,
could
but yeah.
Really break the Bowlers 3 record, and that would be
No, I
huge.
think
No,
everyone's
we
exhausted. I don't know if this event. I think if there's like an MSS3, I could see it, but
I mean,
I don't think.
I feel like if you have like a decent amount from NA and LATAM, like close to what we had last time, then we definitely break it because ANZ and EU just push us like 20 over.
Yeah. Okay, that's the thing is that I think, and it's not just important because the event's gonna be huge, right? Because everyone trusts Monty and everyone trusts FM and like that corner of people, right? Because they produce quality tournaments. You're not gonna see some summer days type level of quality or anything like that. You're gonna expect some good stuff, right? But also, I think Winter FC becomes the best in the world.
Probably.
Like, because everyone in like the top 6 to 8 level has some sort of either argument or is like, look at like the scene doc right now. Everyone in the top 6 right now has a slight claim, or like almost a claim.
Everyone in the top 6 has won a tournament at some point, and is regularly placing very well. And then there's also like plenty of people like closer down, like 7 through 11, could also like realistically make a very big splash. And then even Prolific, I'd say, would count in there.
Yeah. Yeah, even Billy could get like top 3 if he's playing well enough.
Yeah, Billy could definitely place top 3.
I think top 3?
Billy is the absurd. Like, what I'm trying to say,
that he's good, but he plays. I don't know. There's something about, but I just don't think he could get top 3. Granted, he has moved back to 13th place on the seeding dock. So,
what I'm trying to say is like, Billy's not just consistent, but like he can cause a few upsets. He's beaten Pixel very solidly before, and like if he can beat the people like as long as he avoids JMac, I think he could beat everyone else. He's playing well enough. Basically, if you just dodge a JMac, he could go far. I think JMac's a hard wall for him.
I think there's a
And, like-
lot of like situations where people can like, oh, they dodge X player and they have to fight X player instead. Then they get to like top 8 of MSS2.
Like Extrovert's won multiple like 2 PRs in recent memory, but I don't think he's played JMac recently. I don't think he's played JMac at all recently.
He has not played JMac to win a tournament. No.
He last time he played JMac was who knows a while back. Like,
Yeah, and he lost to him twice.
Like for example, Extrovert on paper shouldn't be JMac. Golly's recently started beat JMac consistently, right? But Golly can't beat Extrovert, for example, right?
And
Tiller
Two
on
Hands has
paper-
been upsetting Godly too, and Vapor.
Yeah, and like Tiller, for example, could beat everyone, but he could lose to Prolific. Like you get what I'm saying? Like there's like clear cut everyone. No one is bulletproof. There's no one player who can run everyone over.
Yeah, there's like very much like a couple of situations where, like you run into a player, excuse me, who's just gonna end your bracket right there, because there's a lot of those now, and like even the top players are gonna have to worry about that.
Even people like Danny, for example, have beaten Extrovert, for example. So like Extrovert versus Danny, for example, isn't free. For example, if you see to play him as an example, like what I'm trying to say is like, say for example, J-Max consistent, right? But he could lose to AK. He could lose to Tiller. Like Vapor can pull him close. Like I think the most consistent choice is J-Mac, because you don't see J-Mac get upset that often, right?
I mean,
But-
at Summer Days, like technically he got upset by Gunslinger and MG.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess more recently he's less bulletproof than he was before.
Yeah.
Because before he was whooping everyone.
Yeah,
Back
he
then,
won.
he was, like,
he
huge.
won 2 out of the last. He won 2 out of the last 3 tournaments of last season. Who knows in Horizon 3, which were the 3
Like,
last tournaments that he entered.
Besides
also.
Star KO where he DQ'd and
Lost to Flavian.
LCC where he also DQ'd, he
And where
got
he
won
lost to
4 of his
Solus.
last. Yeah, he won 4 of his last 5 PRs, and the other one was a second place. Look at this streak of him getting first, second at so many events in a row. That he was like trying in, or like was like clearly playing up to his level,
Mm-hmm.
or up to the level we kind of expect of him. Like when J-Mac is playing well, it's like a train, and you can't stop it. Vapor, for example, has been someone we all thought could win stuff, and he's won a PR before, but like he's always the guy who gets to 3rd place or 4th place,
Yeah.
and like he can make it. He's a few second place and 3rd place, but like usually the guy who's like he's the bridesmaid, but never the bride.
Mhm.
But I think if Vapor wins MSS2, I think that changes his legacy hard.
Yeah.
Because like Golly's won championships, AK's won the first MSS, Tiller's won championships, Extrovert's won huge events recently, right? Like 5 and 8 was a huge event. He won that.
Yeah,
over a bunch of
and
people.
Sunshine Smashdown he also won over everybody below him. Like the 6 people directly below him, he all beat.
Not Tiller, not yeah,
Well, not
the-
JMac,
the
but he beat
4 to
Godly
5
AK.
people below.
He beat Godly AK Vapor Tiller.
Yeah, which is like an example. So he's won huge events. Vapor, like Boss Bash was a legit tournament. Don't get it twisted, but like
That was
His
kind
wins
of like
were
a
go-
smaller one.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly in comparison.
He beat
but Vapor was
Godly under
MSS2.
AO.
Like in comparison, right? If he wins MSS2, I think it boosts his all-time legacy, or at least like his legacy factor or his importance to the scene up a lot. Vapor gets so much out of winning this, but I feel like everyone gets so much out of winning this. If AK wins this, then he might have an argument for number 1 in the world.
He's
If
the
Extrovert
double
wins this-
MSS champ if he wins it.
He's the back-to-back champion, which is
Yeah,
huge.
that's
Very
true.
good. That's a big deal. Not many people can back-to-back any series, right? That'll be huge for his legacy. If Extra wins, I think he straight just becomes the best in the world. He already might be right now this season, but he will convincingly put himself in that spot, right?
Mhm.
If 2 wins this, he's won 2 straight PRs. It might put himself back in the contention for number 1, right? After 1 SD. And that's
Yeah,
just this event.
Tiller? Okay, Bala, I'm gonna say a few things about Tiller right now. If you don't mind me interrupting. So Tiller, he kind of felt like he's been all over the place this last few months, like with the start of the
Yeah.
second season. He's had like a rise and a fall, getting 5th suddenly, like multiple tournaments, like not making top 3 anymore. And
Yeah,
then all of a sudden,
Sunshine Smashdown, Voltitor, he was 5th both times.
and all of a sudden he just comes over here and wins Summer Days apparently.
Yeah.
He's 6-1 to AK. It was not close, but that's not the point, right? Then if Tiller wins this, then are we talking about like all-time legacy for Tiller now? Like I don't think he has a GOAT argument, but like how much closer does Tiller get to being like near the very top? Like how much higher is his all-time status?
I
Right?
mean, when
If
you
Godly
can
wins this,
go on.
like if Godly wins this might be his most important tournament. When I think even including Ladner's, I think this might be his most important tournament one ever, because Godly's always been the guy who like was behind Pixel or behind Tiller or like.
Yeah, he's
Always
never
behind
really like
someone else.
taken the lead for himself. He's always been like, even in like he's been behind like the big 3, or he's been behind like Tiller, JMac, Pixel, or he's been
stuff like that, right?
extrovert
Like,
now.
Gotti's always been the guy who will like bulldoze the field, and he is still consistent. Do not get twisted.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is like Gotti's and like he's one important stuff. Don't get twisted. But like usually it's because everyone else is more inconsistent, or he has to be only one of his demons, or like before it's like okay he could be Pixel, but he's not the favorite. Or right now he's struggling against extrovert. Or Tiller, I think even now might be the favorite versus him. Right? Still, even though Gotti's shown the ability to beat him, AK is like Gotti's a favorite, but it's not free. J-Mac, he's starting to flip the script on, but I still wouldn't call that free. Like, Vapor isn't free. Like, he can still be everyone, but if he wins MSS2, beating his best rivals and being the best players, I think that's huge for him. For his confidence, his ability, and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. At least for me, right? What do y'all got winning this tournament? Assuming everyone's going, right?
MSS, you mean?
I mean, Godly was
MSS2.
absent for the first MSS, but then he did like just put on a clinic kind of at Betaversary.
If you want my honest opinion, I think Extrovert has a really big chance, assuming he plays. I think that Prolific has a chance to certainly upset some people and take out some major names like he's done before with barely any practice, as per usual for Prolific, because he just kind of cheeses with the big funky monkey. Killer has a chance. I mean, all of top 5, maybe even top 6 has a chance. Zare, of course, having a chance as well. But those are honestly the only people I see realistically winning. I just do not... Why the fuck is Monty in his own crew?
They're trying to like Mandela effect people into forgetting there's an I in Flavian's name.
Oh
For whatever reason. I don't understand why.
Why the night?
But yeah, MSS2, I think something I personally am going to be looking at for during MSS2 is like how like Two Hands does personally, because like he's kind of like been unproven,
Underdog.
I feel, or like underdog definitely. Like he's
Here's
consistently
Two Hands
within
to
the
me-
top 8, but
Here's the thing I understand with Two Hands is that to me, I feel like Two Hands unproven in some head-to-heads.
yeah, like
He's very untested.
like he's good against Godly and Ender, I guess. But then like
Yeah,
Pearl took 2 straight against him.
Yeah, that's true. And you beat him twice.
I guess,
But
yeah.
seven
I
seven
don't-
being knocked. Losing twice to pick a player.
Viable matchup against Two.
You want to know my ideal like MSS2 like bracket? I fight Two Hands, Piano, Billy going Link for some reason. Who else?
Garth?
Not Garth. No, I can't beat Falcon, dude. Dude, Garth Falcon is something else now.
I've
I
beaten
guess I
Falcon.
fight
Wait, hold up.
Dewdrop. Probably AO Tusk. I think I'm a lot better at that matchup now. So like maybe like round 1 I fight Dew. Round 2 is AO Tusk. Round 3 is probably like freaking Piano. Round 4 would be Billy going Link or Pearl, because I feel like I do have a chance against Pearl. And then round 5 would be Two Hands, and round 6 is AK. I think that's like my most realistic shot at taking like a decent position at MSS2 if I fight like those people all, because those are people like I'm pretty confident I can beat. Out of like the people that are realistically gonna go far.
My ideal bracket is not playing because I get to TO, which means I get to say where you guys go.
Holy.
Player, just don't be surprised if you get first seed. You know what I mean.
You're going to get thrown off the seeding team if you do that, because I'm literally 26th.
Oh, fucking damn it.
Holy.
Okay, I'll just confer with Tiller real quick. Hold up. Hold up. Let me go talk to Moti.
So Pika, Quackus, your choice is extrovert.
My choice humbly is extrovert. He has been upsetting
Yeah.
literally everybody.
Not even upsetting. He's not even upsetting. He's earned these wins. It's not even upsets. Don't even try to call them upsets, bro. I'm keeping G with you.
Shut your mouth is upset because he hasn't been seeding first until this season.
Okay, whatever. But
Go on.
my call is, I'm gonna say this right now. I think J-Mac returns to form. I think these last couple events have not been J-Mac. I think J-Mac is going to return to form. I said J-Mac is going to win VT5, but he didn't. But I think J-Mac will return to form.
Yeah, he got second.
I said he was going to win VT5, and he almost did. But like, I think J-Mac will return to form.
Him in typical AK fashion.
I think J-Mac will return to form. I think J-Mac will bring his A game. I think J-Mac will put himself as the dominant force we thought he was last year. I
Yeah,
think J-Mac's gonna return to form here.
and I definitely think J-Mac, in terms of like character, probably has like the most like matchup like inexperience and just overwhelming domination against people that he can pull out to like accomplish that. I feel because Meta Knight's like kind of a tricky character to just like combo and kill
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta give the respect of the Meta Knight. You can't just try to do stupid shit.
Yeah, Extrovert and J-Mac playing Zero Suit and Meta Knight. I think those are definitely like the two characters that are like hardest to fight for like somebody not versed in the matchup. So like if you fight either of those two, it's probably not going to go well for you. And I feel like that's going to get Extro and J-Mac through like the first like couple of rounds of the tournament. I feel like those are definitely like the top two. Because I feel like Tiller has like possibilities to be upset because he lost to Prolific. Like Prolific is good, but like we have not really seen. We're basically seeing like a bit of a return to form for Prolific, and it's also kind of like untested.
I think not even like this is like 10% Prolific, maybe 15% Prolific.
Yeah, this
100%
is
Prolific is stuck behind the pre-nerf DK, so I think we're getting 100% DK because that version of Prolific is the most monstrous. Like Chaos at his best was amazing. Like Zaren's best is Zare. We don't explain that one. Prolific when he was at his best was a monster. He breathed DK in a way that I can't explain with anybody else.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking J-Mac, Quackus, and Extrovert. Who do you think is going to win MSS2?
I mean, I said J-Mac and Extrovert, but at the same time, honestly, man, I feel like this could also be Godly's, dude. I think Godly definitely has like a very realistic shot because he's just kind of like ironing out those like bad like head-to-heads against people.
Yeah, and Godly seems like someone who really wants to study. And I think that's huge.
Yeah,
So
I know, because Flavian like DM'd me like a little bit ago. Like, hey, do you have the VODs from Sunshine Smashdown NA where Godly lost to who was it? Extro and Vapor, because Godly wants me to do a VOD review of them. That's basically what Flavian said. I said, sure, have them. Because Godly is definitely like very applied. He's definitely like he wants to study matchups so that he can like kind of perfect his gameplay.
And another thing I think is important is that all these 6 players, the top 5, because I think Vapor is kind of like the one who wants to become a legend of his own, right? The top 5, I think Godly is one who's had the least amount of time as the best in the world. Or he's like as a real number one. Cause the top 5 is like, okay, Extrovert's number 1 right now. J-Mac had a time where he was destroying it. AK was the last MSS champion. It was like he's like an amazing player in his own right?
And he was like
great.
one of like the best back. He was, I think, the best of the pro Zare back in 2021. He was number 1, right?
So when like Zare and Pro quit, you can say briefly AK was the best. Even.
Yeah, and Tiller has been number 1 this first half. He was number 1 on the document. So yeah,
so like the top 4 of the 5 they have had time periods either were briefly or were extensively the best in the world, or best NA. Sorry.
Yeah, whereas Godly is like he's kind of like a person who hasn't had like this time in the limelight. Like you look at his stats from the season, he's a grinder, dude. He's entered like 28 tournaments. The only event he missed was the first
MSS actually.
And Volti-Tour 5. He missed 2 tournaments this season, and he's yet to be out of a top 8 spot this entire season. Like Godly
he is a grinder. He is a madman.
Like the amount of like non-top 3 finishes he has, I'll count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 out of 27 right now, where you didn't place in the top 3. Like that's domination.
That's clean.
Like
that's clear domination. Like, not just against good players, but against the field too. Because, like for example, like if the Haida in below tier, and I know like J-Mac, like guys lost to Ash, for example, right? Like Flavian's beaten J-Mac, Chari's beaten really good players, Gun's beaten a couple good players. Haida's Haida. I think he almost beat Tiller back at Summit, I believe, and I think he beat JMI. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, if the Haida and below tier can cause upsets, Gali cleanly beats everyone else here. Like, okay, he loses 2 hands. Okay, fair.
Yeah, 2 hands is like an unknown quantity, and like also he's playing Link in like a very unique way that I don't imagine Gali.
I think he's still like 2-2 in sets versus 2 hands, or like 1-2, roughly.
He was 1-1 at Who Knows, and then
he lost his recent stats. He's 1-2, so he beat 2 hands, whatever. He beat Souls last time I played. Ender's a 50-50.
No, two hands is 2-1 in sets against Godly.
I know. He's down 1-2, but he can beat him. So that's not really an issue. He's up on Soulless. He's even versus Ender roughly. He lost Kenwo last time, but Kenwo could beat everyone. He's unique. Zero. He beats Prolific. He beats Billy. He beats Rage. He beats Danny. He beats Piano.
He like destroys Piano, dude. Like anytime Piano fights like an Ichigo, like not just Godly, but like Godly is like the most like the one you look to the most. The Godly Piano matchup are like it sucks for Piano.
Yeah, that's true. Like, Haida is hard, but I think Haida can beat anyone, so I wouldn't call it a bad draw. I think Haida can literally just beat everyone on this list. Because Haida is absurd. He just doesn't enter anything. So that's not the point, right? How did Haida get 13th at Vibinate? Jeez, how did he lose to Kai? But that's not the point, right? Vash can beat anyone, but he lost to Vash, but Vash can beat everyone, too.
Vash is like sleeper Pro Zare level.
He's sleeper, bro. Like, if he didn't bomb so hard at MSS by going secondary, like, he actually would not be this low on the scene, doc.
Shasta, bro.
And then Monty, he beats Monty probably. He probably beats Charlie. He beats Gun, beats Lamont. I think he won his last versus Garth. He was down.
I think he did, yeah. And I don't see him really losing to RC. Jeff's out of the picture for now.
Yeah. He beats Pika, obviously.
Dude,
he beats MG.
I lose so hard. MG,
like
Insider.
Like Godly versus the field is so good. It's just that he needs to what happens is that he could beat one demon. Like he beat J-Mac recently. He's beating Teller. He's beating AK. Right now his issue is Extrovert. If he can either dodge Extrovert, which I think is kind of doable, or finally crack the Extrovert code for him, I think he can do it. But I think I'm just willing to put J-Mac. I think J-Mac has shown the ability to beat everyone. So right now our guesses are Pico is choosing Godly. I'm choosing J-Mac. Quackus choosing Extrovert.
I think those are all like really solid guesses too. To be honest, like that could be the top 3, and that would not surprise me. Like Godly goes on a tear through like Godly probably goes on. They all probably like go through a tear on like the remainder of the field. To just meet each other in losers and grands.
Yeah, I feel so bad for all of my homies who are going to be going out 0-2. They're going to be bodied, and the seeding is going to probably suck, although I'm going to be seeding it with Moti.
I went 0-2 last MSS, and I lost to Ronald. I'm so sad.
I went 1-2. I lost to Bird and Jarvie.
If you're unseeded, I can put you basically where I want after I seed all the seeded players. You know what I mean?
No, do not put me too high up, bro. Come on.
Bro, the thing about the first MSS.
Don't put me above Astro, bro.
I'm just kidding, man. I'm not gonna abuse my unholy powers.
I mean, you'd be banned if you did, probably.
Exactly. Plus, I want to be on the seeding, so I can't abuse it. Tiller, if you're watching this, I'm not gonna abuse it. Don't worry.
Let's go.
Okay, so any closing thoughts?
I don't know, man. I'm just pretty excited for what MSS2 has in store. I'm probably gonna be streaming EU and ANZ brackets. Maybe LATAM. I've been getting a bit more into contact with LATAM. I contacted BreMT. We did South Arena. I did LATAM Comms, which kind of counts, not really. I did for Betaversary, and I streamed Star Cadet LATAM.
There are two FFCs accounts. I think there's 2 AMFEMs.
Oh yeah, AFMCX and AFMCX2, and the 2-1 was for Spanish commentary.
Dude, that was actually so bad of Doc to do that. Like, on God, Doc was the absolute goat for doing that.
Doc is the streamer goat, dude. So yeah,
that's what I love about Doc is that like, Doc tries so hard, and like when I have an issue with Doc, it's like I feel like I'm being petty.
Yeah.
I feel like, because like the Bolt Baller rank thing that he did. Or like because I made a tier system of players because before the auction and before the first 5-5, like some people, the captains are clearly less into the scene than others, right? So I tried to be helpful and like make a list of players like in a tier system, and I divided like 3 tiers. Tier 1 is people who could win a major at the time. Tier 2 are the players who could like get top 8 or have gotten top 8 in recent memory. The third tier are dark horses who can kind of cause an upset or clearly are good enough players from what they're not randoms, and then everyone else, right?
Yeah, the people who are kind of just randoms.
I thought a dark horse was somebody who took a tournament by storm, which nobody expected them to.
Dark horses are more like
dark horse is someone with the potential to do that,
to cause an upset, right?
But like they haven't proven themselves recently,
or have done it once or twice, but not enough times, or they're untested against some people. And like I made the list. I just put him tier 1, 2, tier 3, right? And Doc somehow makes called a baller rank. He puts it in ranks. I didn't call them ranks. I call them tiers. He calls them ranks. Puts letters instead of numbers. And another thing that the auction stream went so much faster than he thought that he didn't even update the ranks. So people thought I put
eventually.
The auction was going so fast.
Literally, what you should do at that point is just do like a freaking just record.
I think the way you solve this is simple. The way you solve this is simple. Is literally just put the tier next to their name. Don't put a whole section.
Yeah, like if the section is too much, then just you can read it out.
Yeah, I think that's one. Damn, that auction scuffed. That's crazy. The auction had like 100 viewers. It was so big.
Oh my god, we're not actually talking about the auction right now, bro.
Yeah,
it's 11:30 and you're talking about the freaking auction.
Bro, it was the most insane. Because here's the thing: most S2 tournaments don't go above 20 viewers for the tournament itself, right?
Barluisi was a steal. I body Barluisi every time, or at least I always at least go even with him every time we play. Now I used to get bodied by him, and now I play even with him. If they say he was a steal, then what am I?
All right, but like, at the time though, he was a prospect.
He was a prospect.
What I'm trying to here's something to understand is that the auction stream itself was way faster than people thought, and also some people were just not aware. Like when Miracle Man almost spent 2K on Jiracha, or like I remember I think Poet was like 400, and Bobby was with like 100 or something like that, like 150 or something like that. It was the most insane thing ever. I think I was 200. I think Jay was like 250 or something like that. It was like the most weird prices ever.
I remember I went for like 1150 or something. And
Yeah,
I'm like, that is way too much.
Yeah, and the thing is that the system was bad because what happens is that we actually had a cap, I think, of 84 or something like that.
It was a 10K cap, I think.
No, I'm talking about the people count. The count of people who could actually enter and like were able to be drafted.
Yeah, we had like a cap of 84 or something.
Yeah, because I think it was 7 teams. It was 12 each, or like, yeah, right. And so
7 teams of 12 each.
Who had expenses, right? And people who wanted to make, because I know Ladner had, I think, one of the better crews. And he had like no super duper great players, but he had like a bunch of top 30 players.
Ladner had Garth, Vapor, Dewdrop, me, MG.
Yeah, very
just
balanced
like
crew,
off the
right?
top of my head, those are the ones I remember.
Like someone was
we had some
4K on
people in
Taylor
reserve,
and like 4K on Pixel and stuff like that, right? And
yeah,
like
people like wasting a lot on top players.
Not even wasting, it was worth it because they had a top 5 player. But that's
true,
right? And so what happens that when someone like Ladner, for example, would have a bunch of people, then what happens is that the cap was kind of lifted because when Inari and Monty's videos went so viral that way too many people signed up than we thought, right?
Yeah.
And the way we did it is that I initially even asked, would you have an 8th team? Because like we had too many people to have a 7 teams. But then Monty's like, no, because we have to let everyone have this 1 week break, right? Mm-hmm. Which I'm like, whatever, right? And so, and the thing is, we had too many matches. That's the issue. That if we had 8 teams, we have too many matches to stream. And Doc was like, I don't want to have too many sets by the same people, right? Mm-hmm. Because that was like his big.
Which is understandable. Like you don't want to take like 3 hours every single Monday. But then he streams SEO.
I'm saying the 5 got good viewership, like 15 consistently, maybe 20 people consistently. Mm-hmm. For not even tournaments and basically exhibition sets, the viewership was actually pretty good. Like it was not a joke. Like they actually got more views than some.
Dude, 5v5 streams then get more views than most of the stuff I did during Montython.
Yeah, that's true.
And most of like the NA tournaments that I stream nowadays, because nobody's like willing to like, you know. Yeah. I've said this a million times.
I'm happy that like SEL kind of taking the backseat in 5v5 is kind of like the new thing, because I feel like it has way more viewership potential.
It does, but that's because Flavian's more popular. SEL's dead without Ladner. Bless his heart. I want to get back in contact with him soon.
Shout out to Ladner.
Shout out to Ladner. On God, what a homie.
Yeah, shout out to Ladner.
Yeah.
Even though he hated this community, he still kept his head up.
Yeah, from the brief time I was in RBD, one of the greatest like leaders of like a crew or whatever I could honestly ask for, to be completely honest.
Yeah, dude had heart.
Yeah, dude had heart. He had strategy. He had it all, man.
Yeah,
I love Ladner. But yeah,
the thing about SEL is that now, like there was one last season. It was the last. This is the last hurrah, really, for a long while until 5v5 League dies, and inevitably we all go back to SEO.
My issue with 5v5.
Actually, with 5v5s, I'm gonna be placed in once if I ever compete, and then I'm never gonna get to play again because nobody likes my playstyle. And even if they do, I'm trash. But hey, at least I'll get to keep talking about your stuff on the mic. Because,
True.
you know, the comms go soft.
Yeah, I'm looking at like the time. It's been an hour 53 minutes. We've
for
talked
somebody
for
else,
a lot of time.
I'm so tired. My
Y'all
eyes are
feeling like
bleeding.
y'all feeling like heading out? Y'all feeling like heading off?
I'm feeling like that we've covered quite a lot of grounds in a single podcast, and I hope to do this in a few days or maybe next week or whatever our
Yeah.
schedule will be.
Yeah, whenever the next one is. It'll be when the next
Alright.
one is. It'll
Alright.
be when it'll be. That's the time.
All right. Well, thank you everybody who watched this whole podcast through to the end. Thank you, Pika Player and Baller, for joining. And it was really fun, even though I kept silent once again, and I'm sure you can guess why.
Holy.
Holy, the Quacker's ignorance. I think Baller fell asleep on his mic.
Yo, Baller genuinely might
I'm
have
good.
just...
I'm good.
I'm gonna wake
Oh
him up.
my gosh, dude.
I was gonna finish my story. Hold up.
Go
Okay.
I
ahead.
was gonna say my issue with SCL and Ender Danica was just agrees that it always felt like the best teams just so much better than everyone else. Like SC basically is all top players, you all top players. Player S for my left was just all top players, and they just kind of mopped everyone. And it wasn't entertaining. 5v5, you have like a variety of players, a variety of matches, a variety of people to choose from. And it was like you saw like 3 different levels of skill within one 5v5 sometimes, or
Yeah.
like 4 like you saw a different variety of matchups, variety of players. You got like with SEOs, like
Then
only
there
people
was
use.
ass delivery.
Yo, my goat ass delivery.
Oh, ass delivery, the best Naruto in the world.
My
I love
Naruto
Z, my
go,
favorite
man.
Isaac. Okay, let's wrap it up. I've been Baller.
I
Go for
have
it.
been the Pika player.
I'm literally Quackers Anonymous.
That is what you have been. Yeah.
And
It's-
we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, great podcast. Have a good one, y'all.
Enjoy PQB and have a good one.